All right, guys, really quick about. I usually kind of stay away from current events, but it's hard to do so. There are things that matter that we should all talk about because there are other people that do, and they spread, you know, racism and prejudice. It doesn't matter where you stand in politics, right wing or left wing. I personally myself don't like these terms. I think we should all look at issues, problems in society in a very substantive way and in a very reasonable way and find solutions. Solutions are not easy. They're not shortcuts. Shortcuts always are bad. Whenever you take a shortcut, it usually is not something good. So it looks easy, looks fast, but it's not good. So coming to the stabbing of Irina, believe I don't remember her last name, but the Ukrainian girl that recently came from Ukraine to, I believe, North Carolina, when she was on a light rail and got stabbed. So um, I want to talk about how a narrative is pushed by people's personal biases and ignorance and also racism and prejudice. So um, there are some people that are just ignorant. They see certain things on TV too much, so they start to think a certain way because they don't know any better. That's necessarily not racism. Racism is something where somebody just does not like your kind. It doesn't matter how much of a good person you are, or how much of a good role you play in society. They just don't like you. That's pure racism. Now there are people who look at you in a certain way because they were brought up with a certain mindset or stereotype. So that's more widespread, bigger than racist. I don't think a lot of people in this country are racist necessarily in its classical definition. Um, but there are. So my point here is the narrative, right? They're pushing this narrative that a dangerous black guy who was, I guess, arrested more than 10 times. But when I read headlines like this, I know there's more to the story. Now, with that, I'm not implying that the stabbing was good or there was. As far as I know, the guy had no history with her. But what I do know is that so his mom, even from the video, I could tell something was not right. So his mom said that he had schizophrenia, which is pretty it seems true because the way he got up and stabbed her, it looks that way. So this video is gonna definitely be a little longer because it's just an important issue. I can't squeeze this under 2 minutes. But anyways, back to I believe his name is DeCarlos Brown, North Carolina, and so even when I first watched the video, I could tell the guy was mentally not well, because it's not like something broke out, or not that it's okay to do that to someone, excuse me, but yeah. So his mom said she had a she did try to get the court to send him to involuntary, I guess, institution or treatment. So I don't know these legal terms too much, guys, but she did try to. She did say that he should not be in public because he's a danger to himself, and that's how schizophrenic people are. I've known them personally. They do not see what we see. They see things we do not see that don't exist. As you can see in the video, he just gets up and he looks himself frightened. And then he stabs her multiple times. Now from the video to us, it looks like what we saw, right? A girl getting stabbed. So of course you're gonna feel bad and horrible. But to him, it was most likely some other person that tried to stab him. That's how schizophrenic people are. They hear things that are not there. They see things or people that are not there. So in his mind, he probably saw somebody attacking him. Is it okay to still stab someone? No. I'm just saying it's a mental issue. His family was aware of it. They tried to get him back to help. The previous offenses that he had were most likely because of schizophrenia. So the point here that I'm trying to make is that empathy part, right? We lack empathy so much nowadays. um, I guess we always lacked empathy at some point to some extent, but nowadays it's even worse, I think. Instead of saying, okay, we need to address this, everybody's trying to push their own narrative, and say things like, oh, dangerous black guy should not have been on the street. And it's not, it could have been anybody else with that problem, with that mental illness, right? And done probably the same or worse. So yeah, it saddens me. It's sometimes you kind of lose hope. I'm not losing hope. I know there are plenty of good people out there that know this. But again, it's not a dangerous black guy thing. It's he suffered from schizophrenia. And if any of you watching this video know anyone with schizophrenia, you guys know how they are, how their mind excuse me, how their mind well, I don't want to say plays with them, but how their mind is not how like people who don't have schizophrenia are. They see things, they sometimes, you're just sitting with them and they're like, oh my god, there's some guy, like somebody like running towards me about to kill me, and you're like, who? But they do. So or they hear things, or somebody's telling them to do something, but it doesn't exist. So most likely this guy, the Carlos Brown, from sitting behind her, probably saw somebody trying to stab him. I don't know, I'm not in his mind, but I can just only speculate, knowing that he was schizophrenic. So read on schizophrenia, guys. Just read on. If you don't know anyone, it's fine. Read on it. Read what it does, how their brain works. But no, nobody gives a shit. Everybody's like pushing their narrative, and they're saying things like, and I know, and as soon as I read the headlines, I can tell this is where it's going. So, oh, it's a black guy, should not, oh, danger to society. Just think to yourself, what kind of narrative? Imagine a black kid watching stuff like that, right? Being a kid, watching that, and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna grow older. What's my place in society? Is this how people see me? No matter how good I am, or no matter how well I behave in society, they will always see me this way. That's fucked up, okay? That's messed up. When a kid growing up thinks that since I'm black, no matter who I become in life, people will probably see me a certain way. And I kind of grew up with that mindset too. Not I mean, I don't want to compare myself and say, oh, I'm sorry. It was not, I cannot speak for a black experience, but what I can say is, being from the background I'm from, moving around from country to country, and then finally immigrating here when I was 14, I was looked at a certain way too. I can understand. Not in a way where, people thought I was super danger to society, not like that. But they had their own biases. And I never liked it, and I still don't. So I can only imagine what a black kid watching that thinks, that this is how people will see me. And I know a lot of people will probably find like any excuse in the book, right? Or how about crime in black neighborhoods? What about this? What about that? I'm sure you guys will. If I want to do that, I can find a lot of things too and say, what about this? What about that? So let's move past that, and if we're really, really decent and wanna value our humane side and humanity, let's work it out. Let's say, okay, what can I do as a person? First of all, don't look at people that way, okay? It's messed up. Just imagine yourself coming from a certain background, a certain neighborhood, and somebody's like, trashing you and say, oh, I know how people from that area are. Maybe some stereotypes are true, yes. It's not all wrong. But there are reasons why people end up the way they do. So please think and look up schizophrenia to know what it does. His family, his mom said she tried to get him out of the streets. So it is. It's what happened to her was not fair, was not right. But in response, we shouldn't just paint black people as dangerous, because that's also fucked up, okay? some other again, you know, I bring up kids because that's when it starts, right? So kid is watching, the first thing that kid is gonna think is, this is how people will see me, and that's messed up. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's all.